This pack is getting kind of heavy. Gotta warm up somehow. Oh, so cold. so cold. I just want to lay down for a bit. I'm not sure I can carry much more. Damn, I'm freezing. I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. could eat anything. And this pack is getting kind of heavy. I can't feel my hands. Too cold to think. One little fire. Perfect. Come on, little fire. Did I say I hate being cold? Because I really do. Wait, I'm so cold, I'm warming up a bit. I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer. Come on, little fire. Perfect. Starting to feel numb. The sun is setting. It's gonna get a lot colder soon. is getting too heavy to carry. My fingers feel numb. I've never felt so cold in my life. I'm not sure I can carry much more. find someplace to... I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. Oh, so cold. Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy. not sure I can carry much more. I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. And this pack is getting kind of heavy. not sure I can carry much more.
Ah, there we are. No. Okay, so the mic was on, but OBS thought it was using a different mic. So annoying. Okay, so I was saying we had a late start today, and so we basically have done about an hour, and I am tired because it's been a long day. You know, it's been a long day, and at the same time, I don't know. It's been a long day. So this week is all reading week for me, so I don't have any classes. So I've just been picking up extra hours of work, and it's just been kind of, the right word's probably boring. You know, it's just like these things to work on that require a certain amount of research and a lot of documentation, and for the most part, not that much innovation. So there's like no like deep problem solving, as much as just trying to make the process, the workflow clear for the next person, what I did or how I did it or how can I duplicate this. So yeah, it's a little bit boring. I'm kind of waiting for another project to come in that's actually more, you know, I don't know, just have something more to sink into to think about how to solve the problem at hand. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of reworking some of these. We're using Google Colab, which is like Jupyter Notebooks. But basically, it's a way to write up a Python step by step, document your Python code, so that someone else can run it, but also understand what's happening. And so I'm setting these up as little tutorials for how to use these different libraries of code, like so a natural language processing library called NLTK, for using a particular research tool called sentiment analysis. And so, yeah, there's some tutorials out there, but what I wanted to do is set it up so that it's easy for me to review how it works, while at the same time be able to use it to teach other people. And you know, so that's part of it, and that it stands alone. It's separate from needing to depend on a particular installation on someone's computer. It's instead, you know, operating out of the cloud virtually. Yeah, so Wednesdays usually I'm like all day on campus. Like I leave the house at 7:45 a.m. and I get back usually around 6:30ish. And then usually have homework to address after that. So yeah, Wednesdays are pretty busy normally. This week, because we don't have any classes, I just worked all day. But there were also like little errands and little projects to work on throughout the day that kind of, kept me busy, and mainly try to stay motivated on the task at hand. Tomorrow, there's a little bit more structure. I have a couple meetings. That will help. I'm running a couple errands at lunchtime. That will help. And then Friday, I think the same thing. I have a couple meetings. So it's like days where it's just completely all unstructured other than the structure I impose on it. A little bit more tricky, And then tomorrow I'm also like doing laundry. This is one of the great things about being a remote worker for this particular job, is that I can multitask. I can have laundry going while I'm also working on these things. So, yeah. But what I'd like to do is, I think as soon as I have these two little projects resolved, I want to go back and spend more time working on some of my game projects, which are really just sort of sandbox ways for me to learn a particular tool better. Well, for at least the Python stuff. And then, yeah, so one thing I want to do is I want to go back into my Python, into the Lost Temple of Pythagoras game, and I want to do one of two things. Either extend the game to make it more like just a more complicated, interesting game, or start from scratch using the game as a game engine, so all the work we did to convert it into a game engine, use that as the starting point, and then build something completely new. And leveraging sort of and I might even write an editor as well. That was another thing I was thinking about. It's like, what if I had the ability to make sort of a level editor as well. So I'm thinking about that as one possibility. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. There are things I would like to do that would make my job easier, in terms of like if I want to take that game and make it into something that's releasable as a product. I think the reason why I'm a little hesitant about simply building off of the game as is because that's a collaborative project that came out of a group project for school, and I think if I want to do something that's for like a commercial release through itch.io, I would want it to be like more solidly my own work. So yeah, so I think I think that might be it. So I might start like from scratch, not quite from scratch. I have the game engine down, but like go through the process of figuring out what is the game. Given this is what our engine can do, and then figure out like what would make for an interesting type of game that we work with, and then what are the things I need to extend in order to make it work better. Yeah, so I think I want to do that as sort of my side project when I don't have any work projects. And in that side project, if I'm working from home and I don't have other meetings to attend to, that actually might be something that I could stream while I'm working on that. So that could become a daytime stream for the days when I'm at home. Yeah. So anyways, that's what I'm thinking about, because I feel it would be nice to do a little bit more streaming, and find a way to like both work and also stream at the same time. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is like what are things that allow for an emergent gameplay experience, something that is the simple mechanics of the game. So let's say one of the games I find really interesting because it's a very simple mechanic that they embrace fully and completely, and it actually becomes a puzzle-solving thing that you have to do throughout the entire game. I don't know if you've ever seen the game Stacking, which is all about, like, basically you are a Matryoshka doll. You are just one of these Matryoshka dolls. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Show you that for a second. You haven't seen Stacking. Okay, let me see if I have it already installed here. Stacking. I would have to install it. Okay. I can show you the clip of it though. Maybe that would work. Okay. So I don't know if you've seen this before. Let's see if they have a trailer. Oh, they don't have a trailer. Okay, let's try. Oh, that's not gonna. Okay. So. Okay, so let me get this going here. So maybe we'll do it this way. We'll just move it over to this side here for a second. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I think this is. Okay, you can see it here. Okay, so this is the Stacking trailer. Okay. So yeah, that was the Stacking game. That's 11 years old. Can you believe it? It's an 11-year-old game. And yeah, so basically the whole premise is that you start off as this little Matryoshka doll, and you can hop inside of larger dolls, and then use their abilities. Yeah, It's just, and you have to be in different, like, you have to take over different dolls in order to bypass certain challenges or to get through different things. It's kind of a cool game. It really is. Yeah, I played a little. I had it installed and played it for a little bit, and I quite liked it. I thought it was kind of a cool concept, and the world was very cool too. Um, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like The Long Dark. It hasn't sucked me in, so I'm like playing it constantly. But a few years ago, I installed it and played it for a little bit. So yeah, it's like some of the characters, each of the dolls out there all have like different abilities, and so like figuring out how to use their abilities to get things done. And I believe there's multiple ways to solve these problems. So the challenges aren't like always one path only. There's multiple paths. The goal is to get the guard distracted, right? So maybe there's a few different ways that you could do that. Yeah, so I actually really like that. That sort of idea that the game is not prescriptive. It doesn't tell you that there's only one solution. But instead, like, gives you the option to try a few different ways to get something done. Am I building that game? No, that's way too much work and too many art assets. I'm happy with the. Did you see me demo like the Lost Temple of Pythagoras game that I did for this class? Were you around when I was doing that? That was in the summertime, I think. If you want, we can take a short break and I'll show you what that was like. Okay, yeah, so we'll show you that here. We'll just do the official save here before I forget. So this is a save. And we are now on day 53. Okay, so we're at 53. I'm going to go ahead and update this. We didn't really kill much. We only spent a couple days in here. Day 53. Now let's see what I can do about this now. Also, I want to move the this down so it's at least. Where's main? Where we lose this? Okay, that's good enough. I guess it really doesn't matter here. I guess this will stay on the top. Okay, so let's go and find my link for that. How do I get there? Ah, here. This is going to be a pain, isn't it? Okay, so I think we just have to. What are we going to do here? Oh, there we go. Nope. I guess this will work. Okay, so here we go. This is the game that. So this is the updated version of the game that I had a team of 2 other people, so a total of 3 of us worked on this game. But what happened is one person got COVID and the other person ended up having to deal with not a family emergency, but a death in their immediate circle of friends, and they had to kind of take over all the funeral arrangements. So, anyways, yeah. So basically, I did about 70% of the work. It was fine. It was fine. We basically wrote this in 2.5 weeks, and then after the class was over, I went back and I rewrote this so it would take advantage of a different Python library to allow us to do the actual visual graphical user interface. So it actually appears on the screen and not in the terminal. So this is the Lost Temple of Pythagoras, which was for the Intro to Python class that we took. This was way, way, way above what we needed to do. So let's see here what we can show you. So basically, it's a standard Zork text adventure game. So you start off, you approach what appears to be the opening of a dark cave. You see the lantern here. You can go east or west. And so you can take lantern, and you can use lantern, and it lights the lantern. Now you can see. You could also, instead of use lantern, you could say light. Oh, actually, you could say. Did I put douse in there? Douse lantern? No, douse isn't recognized. Okay, so you can, if you use something like a lantern, which is basically got an on and off state, you can actually turn it off, by using the lantern again. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Hold on a second here. I must have hit the wrong button there. Okay. Yeah, I accidentally turned it off. There we go. Okay, so it's not going to do anything crazy, right? Okay, there we go. So basically, yeah, you can see we basically are just doing standard text adventure movement. You can go west. You can look at skeleton. A skeleton, animated by some unnatural force, stands with a sword in hand blocking the path. You want to, let's say you want to find some other, commands that you could use. You can type commands, they'll tell you all the commands that are available. You could ask skeleton for the time. Skeleton responds, grrr. Does that, I don't know. Does the skeleton say that? Who knows? You can try to punch the skeleton. You attack the skeleton with a fist. Your fist sails through the air, missing completely. The skeleton wounds you with its sword. Oh no, what's our condition? We can check our stats, and it says that we're currently at 14 out of 20. Our armor class is 14, and our attack modifier is 4. So maybe we try kicking instead. You attack the skeleton with foot. I probably should say with your foot. You land a deadly kick to the head. The skeleton barely misses you with a savage slash. And then you can also use words like hit. Or you can just get more direct and say kill. That didn't work. Let me try kill skeleton again. Nope. Let's see. Let us try to hit. Ha! We slew the skeleton. How are we doing hit point wise? We're down to 8. Wow, we got beaten up. But you see, there's a pile of bones, a list, and a key there. You can look at the list. A long scroll filled with crossed off names. There's plenty of room at the bottom to add more things. The list is currently empty. You could look at, if you look at pile of bones, it will find that. You can take all, and it will take everything. Take the bone. So you know, if you try to take another bone from pile, it says that you already have the bone. You can't take multiple bones while you have a bone in your inventory, right? So anything that's from a pile, it actually restricts you to only having one of those in your collection, in your inventory. You can type inventory and you type INV and it will know that you mean inventory and it will automatically complete it for you. You can put, here's something that most people don't realize, is the list is technically a container. So you can put bone in list. And then you can look at list. It should show, I have to fix this. When you look at it, it should show you that there's a bone in the list. But if you do inventory again, it says the list contains a bone. But really the description, when you look at the list, it should say something. You can read the list and, it will just randomly pull from the crossed off names, on the list. And it has some, Guido van Rossum is actually the person who came up with Python. So there you go. So it just has a limited number of names that it'll spit out if you try to read the list. So yeah, there's little Python jokes built into this all over the place. Okay, so you can look at key. Key is made out of bone. Okay, we're going to go north. Spacious cavern, pile of rocks in the center. You can look at moss. You can search the area. Oh, we found a gemstone. Look at that. Take all. So we take the moss, we take a rock, and we take the gemstone. Look, gemstone. Sparkling gemstone. Clearly extremely valuable. Yeah. East. So basically there's a limited number of rooms, and there are things in each of the room to encounter and interact with. You come to this room, this is a puzzle room. There's a riddle on the ground. You can try to read the riddle. It says, if you speak my name, I am gone. Hold your peace, I am there. And so you can try to figure out what that riddle is. I don't know if you know what it is. While you're thinking about what the answer is, we'll go east again. There's a sword in stone. So we can look at sword. A strangely heroic looking sword. Look at stone. A large, impressive looking stone, made all the more impressive because of the big heroic sword stuck in it. You feel lucky just to look at it. You might say, oh, what do I do? Well, maybe I'll ask a hint. There seem to be faint pink stains on the stone. They look almost like lipstick. You could try to take the sword. Or as you might, you can't get the sword free. We probably should have a little thing about how you're not the king. Perhaps you're not really the king. Perhaps your mother was wrong. No. Right. So if you're trying to remember your commands, there are more commands available. You could hit stone. You attack the stone but fail to cause any damage. You could punch stone. That doesn't work, other than you breaking your fingernails. Search stone. I mean, obviously there's still the unlock stone. Stone isn't a container. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. But in any case, you could always kiss the stone. You kiss the stone and feel luckier. Also, probably purely coincidentally, you hear an audible crack as the stone releases its grip on the sword. So now you can try to take all. And you can take the sword, but you can't take the stone. Look at stone. The large, impressive stone made all the more impressive because it once held a big, heroic sword. Its greatness is somewhat diminished without the sword. So we built it in so it actually would change the description depending on the state. So like if you remove the sword from the stone, it now has a new description. And all this is written, all this is scripted, like in these external, like I came up with a scripting language. We wrote this in 2.5 weeks. I also, not only did I make an engine and wrote this all in object-oriented Python, but I also created a scripting language for the text files that describe all the objects, rooms, and creatures in the world. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, we can't go east, so we have to go west. So did you figure out the riddle? Yeah. Any guesses on the riddle? Anyways, if you figure out the riddle, you would then say something like you might say, say George. No one answers, right? And you can say other things like say potato, 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 potato. You listen, but there's no reply. You say secret. No one answers. No. Anyways, if you do figure it out, a secret door is revealed and you enter into another room that is perfectly dark. This is why having a lantern is valuable, because suddenly you can see in the dark and then you can navigate through it. And then at some point, there's a need to get another key to get through a final door. And the last door takes you into a room where you encounter the giant python, which you have to defeat to escape from the temple. And once you defeat the python, you're free to leave. But there's other Easter eggs in the game too, involving the python, involving like another. There's a room that you have to find and deal with where it's there's an NPC, there's a dwarf that you can talk to. So there's like a limited conversation thing set up as well. So a lot of this stuff was proof of concept to see if I could get it working, and then to then test to see like what I could do with a simple scripting language, that would allow a fair bit of flexibility for us to design around, because I wanted us to be able to extend the game very easily. So like adding rooms and adding other things is actually relatively simple, but you do need to plan things out as to like, it still has to make some sort of sense as to why you're doing this. Yeah, you could say silence. As soon as you finish speaking, you hear the cavern walls shake and tremble. A portion of the north wall retracts, revealing a secret chamber. And now you can go north. Okay, so we're going to light our lantern so we can see. You notice it said like it's pitch black, you're likely to be eaten by a grue. Yeah. Little nod again to Zork. Vast empty cavern, tunnels east and south. There's a sealed door to the north. You can look at door. A huge bronze door on the north wall that looks too heavy to bash through on your own. The engravings on the door depict a gigantic python encircling the world. There appears to be a place to insert a large key. Ooh, look at key. Well, we got a small key. Wrong key. Let's try going east. You step into a small room of polished stone. An air of mystery hangs An error mystery hangs in the air. What are we doing? This is really bad writing. We gotta fix that sometime. You see the chest here. You see a dwarf here. You can look. You can go west. So you can look at dwarf. And it says, a bespectacled dwarf with long beard and pigtails sits on an iron-bound chest. She is reading a book. Look at book. I think I set this up. No, we didn't. Okay, I have to fix that too. Technically, we should have it so that you could look at the book that she's reading. But let's see. We could say... Oh, we've been raided. Welcome in, raiders. We are actually not... We're just about to wrap up our TLD stream, but Nuka had asked to see a game that I had been working on over the summer. And so this is a really... It was a game that we produced for... a summer class that I was in, and then I've rewritten the game to use Pygame to have like a visual interface. But it's basically a Zork-like game that was written in about 2.5 weeks, which is kind of a ridiculous pace, but it was fun to do. So you could ask the dwarf about key. It says... And this is really like where it starts. The dialogue tree is really weak here. Let's see. Oh, we should also do a shout out here. Yeah. Oh, actually, we'll do the shout out as soon as we finish this up because we can't. The video will display behind this, and that won't be any use. So we'll just finish up what we're going to say here. So, anyways, you can talk to the dwarf. So it says the book says you can learn to command pythons. If I study a few more months, maybe I can get past the Guardian. So anyways, again, a little nod to the fact that this is a Python class that we were in. And then anyways, you could look at chest. You can open chest, except it says, oh, you think you need to unlock it first. So unlock chest. And then the bone key slides in, and then you can open chest and take all. The chest isn't going anywhere. You take the dictionary. You can read the dictionary. A librarian, the sort of person who sorts books for fun. There you go. You could look at the potion. And yeah. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. We won't spoil the ending of the game, but yeah. So that's sort of the game that I worked on over the summer, and so now we will we will bring this back so that we can actually do a shout out for our visitor, Double, our raiders. Thank you, Double. Let's see. Double cross out. You have any clips? I guess no clips. Okay. Thanks, raiders, for coming in. I'm Babbaginator. I stream Long Dark, and I'm also a writer. I'm a former computer games programmer that still sometimes does game design for fun. I'm a creative writing coach, manuscript editor, longtime TLD player, and D&D player as well, and DM. And then I also am back in school doing Masters in Library and Information Science. But I've kind of done a lot of education. So I've done a PhD in literature and creative writing and a MFA in creative writing. So we talk about lots of crazy, weird things on this channel because my dissertation was on 19th century artificial intelligence. So, if you wait until December, I will make my redeems available for. I have rewritten a number of Christmas holiday songs for TLD. So like the lyrics are all TLD based. So, but not the Grinch. I have what's my lineup here for this? Do my redeems. Yeah, so there's like Walking in a Winter Wonderland redone as Winter Hinterland song. So Walking in a Winter Hinterland. And then there's a TLD version of Let It Snow. There is I think there's more. Don't I have more? I have more. Let me see. I have my list of ELT Christmas songs. Yeah. So Moose Steaks on an Open Fire, Let It Snow, Winter Hinterland. I think those are the three. And then I started working on, and this wasn't a TLD Christmas song. This was another one, kind of a fun song called where is it? 50 Ways to Lose Your Loper. And this was fun to so this is a rewrite of like Paul Simon's song 50 Ways to Lose Your Lover. And I wrote it, and then I didn't actually do it anytime because it was inspired by I was watching Athenion stream, and this was maybe a year ago or so. I can't remember. It was whenever they released the probably 2 years ago now. It was whenever they put out the release that had the Black Rock region. And Athenion had not paid attention to the fact that the poison gas acts really quickly in the mine, and you have to hustle to get through that area if you're not going to die. And so he mistimed it. And so his condition's just dropping like crazy, and he's not moving fast enough through the area. And he realizes like too late that he's going to arrive too late to get out of the area. And so there's this look of, I think it was like a 500-day run. It was a long run. And he loses it, to this stupid thing where he had just not paid attention and was not moving fast enough. And so I remember looking at his face. Yeah. Looking at his face in that moment and thinking, man, there must be 50 ways to lose your loper. And I thought, yeah, I got to write that at some point. So I'm not going to sing it. I might just read it for you. Singing takes more energy than I have right now. It's late. But I mean, this is kind of lyrics as I had them. I don't think I finished this completely. The problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to lose your loper. She said, it's really not my habit to intrude. Furthermore, I hope my meaning won't be lost or misconstrued, but I'll repeat myself at the risk of being crude. There must be 50 ways to lose your loper. 50 ways to lose your loper. You just slip off the rock, Jacques. Forget your whole plan, Stan. You don't tear up your bed, Ed. Just die foolishly. Get lost in the gas, Raph. Don't dwell in the past. Just fall off the tree, Lee, and plunge into the sea. You just dance with the bear, Gare. Tick off the moose, Bruce. Run out of food, dude. Just die of dysentery. Fall off a bridge, Fish. Eat the wrong can, Jan. Just walk until you freeze, Reed, and set yourself free. She said, it grieves me so to see you in such pain. I wish there was something I could do to make you smile again. I said, I appreciate that and would love And would you please explain again about the 50 ways to lose your loper? And then I don't have the rest of it done, after that. Yeah, so I stopped at that point. I hadn't finished converting it. But, but there are a number of like classic deaths that are being referenced here. Some of them I have like changed names on, but some of them are very, very iconic. Big Fish famously fell off of the trestle bridge on street because he forgot he had set Astrid on auto walk, and he paused to roll a cigarette. And then he looked up, and Astrid was just like veering off of the trestle bridge and then falling down. And he's like got the cigarette in his hand. He's like, and everyone in chat was saying, "See, smoking will kill you. Smoking kills." Oh, poor fish. Yeah. So, anyways, that was kind of a funny thing. Okay, so we had a big detour here. Yeah, so you guys that are coming in on the rage, you've missed out on most of the stream and most of the action. But hey, this is what you get. You get some poetry. You get some discussion about literature. Sometimes you get a discussion about the history of technology. Weird fiction and sci-fi, especially weird 19th century stuff that I've studied and written about. Okay, so you've got... Okay, so Nuka's sharing a little bit from Nuka's take on The Grinch in TLD style. Traders coming... Oh, so this is you're referencing The Trader. Got it. But the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow stood puzzling. How could this be so? They must want my stems, he snarled with a sneer. They're coming in December. It's practically here. Then the Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I'm going to steal every stem and bring them back here. It's a good start, right? Yeah, I think whenever we're making a riff or a parody of another piece, it's, the challenge is figuring out what is the core spirit of what is the gist of the original, that core sentiment that you could then twist in some interesting way, right? I think consider Weird Al Yankovic as being basically the master of doing these type of things, and think of just sort of the brilliance that he brings with each parody that he does. It's not just simply that he's adding new words to a song that already exists. It's that he's found whatever is supposed to be the cool part of the original song, and he's found some way to make it ridiculous, like inverting it in some way that you really couldn't imagine otherwise, and then he presents you with it. So I think iconic, kind of the epitome of this would be something like Amish Paradise, right? So you have Gangster's Paradise, and then you have Amish Paradise. It's like the polar opposite. It's the thing that you could not possibly imagine happening to the song, and that's what you get. And then also Beat It becoming Eat It is just, Beat It, you have all these lean, mean, fighting machine, dancing machine type people. They're just all very, very fit, very, very high energy, high strung type things. And then you got Eat It. It's just it feels like the complete polar opposite. And that's kind of the brilliance of it, is the parody works best when you can figure out how do you take something that is recognizable and flip it in some way. And someone will still recognize it, but see the tension, the powerful tension in the way it's been flipped around unexpectedly. It's really hard to pull off consistently well. And I think that's why Weird Al is such a master of doing this. yeah, so finding that core is important, and it may take many drafts to figure out that. So we are going to do one thing before we go. This is sort of our custom on this channel. For those of you coming in late, I apologize. We're basically done with the stream at this point. We'll be back, I think most likely tomorrow night. I think I'm going to try to do tomorrow night as well. But yeah, so we're going to, it is a custom on this channel for me to read poetry. So we will read, we'll do this. Okay, so this comes from my first book of poetry, The Lost Country of Sight, published by Nhinga Press in 2008. Because I am an old timer, that is the real date. And this was the winner of the 2007 Philip Levine Prize. And this poem is called Counting Winters in Los Angeles, and takes its inspiration from when I used to live in Los Angeles. But I am a Canadian, and I had many memories of being through very miserable winters in Canada. And there was this moment of weirdness where I kind of felt like I miss winter. Okay, Counting Winters in Los Angeles. I no longer mark what falls in passing. Iron stones blazing through the night sky, leaves turning dry in the autumn breeze, or old men curled around fires watching yesterday's news offered up as ashes to the dark. Hiding in the concrete-celled city, my head is full of another country's snow, a loose wind blowing through my room at night when I cannot sleep and lie to myself in dreams I've committed to memory. I'm a stranger to the city that burns with too much neon. Each night I wind my sunburnt car through towers of glass and steel, listen to the radiant hum of static, the muted signal of an invisible sun, the slow ticking questions keeping time. What winter will take me home down an ice-covered road past the gray-boarded shacks beyond the bending river's spine, then plant me low beneath the white-haired trees? What wind will wrap itself around my waist and lower me down to sleep and distant rain? And that was Counting Winters in Los Angeles. So, a little behind the poem here. Yeah, so the iron stones blazing through the night sky. I was writing this about the time of there's a regular meteor shower that happens right at the end of fall into winter that you can see in Southern California, which I think is the Leonids, I think it is. And so it was about that time, so we could see that in the sky falling. So that's the iron stones blazing in the night sky. And I'm trying to think what else. So one of the few critiques I've been given about this poem was someone noted that LA probably isn't a city that burns with too much neon. Las Vegas is a city that burns with too much neon. Los Angeles, instead, it is light. It is definitely, there's so much light going on, but it's not neon. So that is a quibble. But the poem made sense with neon, but it is still something I always think about. It's like, why did I say neon? I should have tried harder to find something else. But I go back and forth. I'll forgive myself, I think. So there's that. But I really love the ending, honestly. To this date, I still feel like this is one of my favorite endings for a poem, is that shift to like, what winter will take me home. And we just follow that road, like the ice-covered road, past the gray-boarded shacks, beyond the bending river spine, and then plant me low beneath the white-haired trees. When I wrote this, I hadn't read a book. There's a really wonderful, if technical, book called Dreaming by the Book by Elaine Scarry, where she's kind of a psycholinguistics literary critic. And so she brings psychology, linguistics, and literary history and criticism together. And she talks about like how different phrasings and orderings of words and details within a phrase affect our ability to imagine something. So why are some descriptions so evocative, so memorable, so easy to imagine for us as readers, and others become problematic, like we stumble over them and we can't quite imagine completely, or we feel something is off in the description. So she talks about that, and one of the things that she notes is like a good description carries within it the implicit directions to the imagination as to what we're supposed to imagine next. So it doesn't actually say, imagine this, imagine that, or like picture this. But the ordering of the details leads to a very natural progression. It's like a camera moving through a space, and your mind's eye settles on these things in order, or zooms in, or pans out, all these different things. You're using almost a cinematic approach to how you structure the order of the details that you're presenting, and the way that light works in that scene, and the way that the eye moves through that scene. The more natural it moves, the more easy it will be for someone to imagine it. So it's true, they do have the open sign. So that is, I'm not completely off base here. Yeah. So I think that's an example of like, why do I like that ending so much? And it's because I was unconsciously already doing this type of attention to order that for me, I think makes it work really well. And after I read that book, as an editor, and as a writer, I became much more attentive. I paid closer attention to these things. And it was helpful because now it wasn't just sort of like, I have a vague feeling that something's not right. I could actually think about it and say like, no, there's a specific thing that's happening that's not working. So yeah, anyways, thanks for listening. Ramble on. It's late. My roommate probably is trying to sleep. So we're going to wrap up here. We'll find someone to raid. Thank you once again. Appreciate all of you hanging out here, and we are going to go find someone. Hopefully someone out there streaming the Long Dark who could use some company. Well, more people I don't know. I think someone is Ape Nuts. I don't know. Okay, I'll try this person. Oh, this is a, let's see, streamer based in California. Doing mostly survival games. Yeah, we'll try this. Okay, so. Okay, thanks. And we will get this raid going here. Hopefully we get, yeah, okay, so we're going to head over there. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. If you like this channel, you like the stuff we're doing, please feel free to drop in. I play a lot of TLD and mostly Interloper, my own challenges. I write generators to create my own challenges because I'm kind of crazy like that. So yeah, come back, check us out. We'll be back here regularly. Okay, so that's it for me tonight. Thank you all. Good night.